lovelies, this is Blossom. So today I have another deck for you. This time the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. The creators are Linnea Weatherstone and Miraila Allwood. And I followed the artist already for a long time on Instagram, and at some point I started to see that she made tarot cards and that there's a deck coming, and I was really excited about it because I love her artwork, and the theme of this deck is right at my alley. I love it. So Forest of Enchantment is my favorite place to dwell. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I did pre-order it a while ago. It took a bit longer here in Germany to arrive, but now it's here. It came earlier than expected, so I was quite happy this morning when I got this deck. So I had a look at the guidebook, I had a look at all the cards already, but I haven't worked with this deck yet. I've seen turn up many reviews here on YouTube for this deck, and it really took a lot of effort not to watch them, because I actually didn't want to see all the cards yet, because I had it on pre-order anyway, so it was not a decision I'm gonna make. So I haven't seen them, and if you have seen already many walkthroughs, I'm sorry. I know I'm for this deck then a little bit late, but I'm really excited about it, and I still wanted to show you in case you haven't seen it yet. Now let's have a look. Yeah, probably the box. So this is a box by Llewellyn, and we have this magnetic system, and here we have the guidebook, and then of course the cards. There we go. It's a lovely box, but as you know, I always make my own little bags, so and this one, I know it's a bit cute overload, isn't it? But yeah, well, that's what I had, and I thought it's cute. So here you can see then the back of the cards. And yeah, let's have a look at the guidebook first, I think. As I said already, I had a look at the guidebook. I didn't read everything, but I did read already quite a bit. You can get through quickly, even if it's, how long is it? Let's see, sorry. It always takes a while. 207 pages. But you can read quickly through. Now, we have, of course, a bit about the forest. Let's see, let's start at the beginning. Sorry, I'm excited. So we have the introduction, so about the forest, and here a quote: "The forest is the place of trial in fairy stories, both dangerous and exciting. Coming to terms with the forest, surviving its terrors, utilizing its gift, and gaining its help is the way to happy ever after." I think that's beautiful. Now, what I love about this deck is they renamed all the cards, and especially if we have a themed deck, I think that is absolutely necessary, and I wish more creators would dare to do that. So except for the lovers, who are still the lovers, every card is named differently. Also the suits are named differently, so we have the spells for the wands, visions for cups, challenges for swords, and boons for pentacles. And I really like that. Then we have a bit of overall how to care for your deck, and then a few questions asked, the best way to learn tarot. Probably a very good book also for beginners, I would say. Also, if the names are different, I think that's something you get quickly used to, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Then about reversals, so she doesn't use reversals here, and then we have the shuffles again, and then we come already into the major arcana. So as you can see, we always have a full picture here. For the cards, Sorry, there we go. You can see then, of course, much more details if you want to, as she is such a great artist. Sorry, words. She paints on such a small scale. It's incredible. And I've read, I think Linnea Weatherstone wrote it herself, that she believes that Marilla would transform into a tiny, tiny fairy to do all those paintings, because it's impossible. I think some of them are not bigger than the cards itself, the original painting, so that's just crazy, the amount of details that is in there. However, now for the guidebook, so we always have one page for each card. We have a bit of a description here about the card, then a meaning at a glance, you know, just a few prompts here for the white heart, a new beginning, accepting the invitation, going forward with trust, the journey begins, follow your instincts. And then we also have a closer look, and there it gives you something to look at in the card, in the painting. For example, in this case here, the trees that are named in the descriptions are shown in the card clockwise from the left. Each has a magical meaning. Apple, the other world. Oak, endurance. Ash, action. Hawthorn, protection. Fear, perspective. Willow, intuition. Holly, challenge, and hazel, willow. So we get a bit of detail in here that might be very interesting also to read your card. For the minor arcanas, let's see, we have, yeah, exactly. I should start there. So we don't go per suit, but per number. It's organized with the numbers, all the aces together, all the twos together, and later also all the people cards together. Yeah, I was here. Oh, that's a bit shorter, but also we have the meaning at a glance and a closer look. And when we come to the people cards, the forest folk, the people cards, we also get a little bit of a description about the general meaning of the pages, or in this case, the child. And then we have, again, a little description, and then the character traits, and then also the shadow traits. For example, here for the child of spells, it would be the character traits are playful, enthusiastic, curious, brave, a risk taker, funny and waggish, doesn't give up easily, learns by trial and error. And the shadow traits are naughtiness, bravado, acts before he thinks, won't accept responsibility for his action, unreliable, easily distracted. So that is definitely interesting. And then, of course, we also have spreads in the end. Quite interesting one. Also a bit more of exercise. Then we have your day in the forest, one card for a day. Then we have the white heart with the question, with two cards, with the question, the first one, who am I as I enter the forest today? And the second card, who will I be when I emerge? This is really nice. Yeah, and we have other ones. Definitely interesting. I'm not going to take one of those today for my sample reading, because they are, yeah, well, I could do the two cards, but let's do real sample reading, shall we? They are a bit more, there are more cards, it's a bit more in depth, and I like to keep my sample readings short and sweet. Then we also have a bit of room for a tarot journal for those who use that. So it's a very nice book, definitely, as you can see here with the numbers. For example, for the eights represent limitation, interference, a hard task, or a difficult life lesson. Often the card doesn't show an actual problem, rather it shows way you might react to the problem. Each of the 8 shows a response to obstacles. The 8 of spells says act swiftly. The 8 of vision says awaken from illusion. The 8 of challenges says think, don't struggle. The 8 of boon says preserve to attain mastery. Just as an example as what we have here. There we go. Here are the cards. You can see the back, they are reversible. and we're gonna have a closer look at them. However, I will read out for some cards what it says in the books, just to give you a few examples throughout the walkthrough. The oldest one reminds us that having a historical perspective is reassuring in times of trouble, and having a mythological or religious perspective helps us find meaning in our lives. Tales, legends and lore have been handed down from generation to generation because they are a vital part of our shared humanity. Talk already on my channel about the fairy wind. I really enjoy that they included this here. Usually here in this case the fairy wind is seen as something very positive. It is in folklore that this is not always the case, but here in this deck, in the Enchanted Forest, it definitely means something more positive. The huntsman defends the well-being of the forest and its creatures by protecting the vulnerable. The huntsman appears when something has upset the natural order of things. He can be called upon for help in a righteous and just cause, and he will tolerate neither deception nor deceit. A journey through the forest can have profound meaning or be utterly meaningless, depending on what you bring to it. Intentions count as much as actions. Devious successes are far worse than errors made in innocence. Each council animal has its own unique wisdom, insight, and perspective. Each is authentically itself, and it expects you to be too. When you are called before the Council of Animals, it is a sign that you are ready to face some tough truths. Traveling through the forest, a young man suddenly comes upon a magic mirror blocking his path. The looking glass hangs in midair with no visible means of support and no way to remove it. You may have gotten into a situation from which there is no obvious positive movement forward. This card signifies a pause for clarification, not about the situation but about your place in it. You can't go any farther on this path until you take a long look at yourself. Stop being in denial about your own faults and failings. Stop distracting yourself to avoid facing the truth. Here we can see a little bit of a different Six of Swords, or in this case a Six of Challenges. In this case it doesn't look like there's much of a choice of going away, which it usually does, but it still makes sense in the end. This is just an absolute lovely card, and as you can see here, I really think of the old man Willow in this case. such a wonderful card because you know I love the OM, and here we have a representation of the OM staves. And in the book it says, this is a place of power where ancient wood wisdom is thought. After paying his respect to the trees, the seeker kneels on the forest floor and takes out a set of small wooden staves. These staves were created over many years, the pieces of wood gathered slowly from different trees, so that each contains the wisdom of that tree. The first step of any spell is to determine what you want. Without a clear intention, your magic will fail. Consulting an oracle can be part of the process of beginning any endeavor. You are doing so right now with these cards. One interpretation of the Two of Spells might be ask again. Go ahead, draw another card or two. I adore this card because we can see it gives me the feeling of Midsummer Eve when the fairies are going into their special place and we can see all the fern around with the little lights, which could represent the glowing seeds that we often recount in folklore, the glowing seeds of the fern that nobody is ever able to find, and if so, then you gather them and you can become invisible. I think that is interesting. Here we have a bit of a different representation for the Nine of Spells. This card signifies that you have everything you need to accomplish your intention. You have the skills, the experience, the maturity, and most important of all, the will to make it happen. No one can stand in the way of your success now. Mark out your territory. It's time to bring forth your full potential of power. And meaning at a glance, it says mastery of inner gifts, mature power, defense against the dark. The Weaver of Spells summons her power from within and directs it towards her purpose. Magic rises from her body and swirls all around her. She is the fiery lover, the muse, the creative force, the catalyst for change. She is the embodiment of the magical flower the seeker of spells sought out, the full power of the true sorceress. If this card doesn't represent a particular person, it can mean a time of great creative joy where the vital energies of life burst forth and are expressed in ways that benefit others. Character traits: passionate, confident, bold, charismatic, a sparkling sense of humor, sexual and seductive. Shadow traits: jealousy, fiery temper, impatience, meddling as an outlet for the thwarted creative purpose. Here in the Seven of Visions, at a closer look, it says all of the visions in the gazing bowl are things that you've seen in the forest. Can you find them in the other cards? You may rely those other cards where you can find them, then you may connect them with this position for whatever this card means then to you. Six of Boons. Something made this woman run from her home, something fearful enough to send her fleeting into the frosty forest in her bare feet. In her panic she has lost her way, and a light snow is obliterating any trace of her tortuous footprints. There is no way to go back, even if she wanted to, and no path forward that she can see. The night is drawing in. Not knowing if she will wake again, and not caring very much either way, she curls up on the cold earth and surrenders to exhaustion and despair. A quiet patter of paws on snow sifts into her dreams, and soft warmth surrounds her. Seeing her dire need, a colony of rabbit blankets her with love. There will still be trials to overcome when she awakes, but she will make it through the night. There is kindness to be found even in the bleakest situation. The world is full of gentle furry creatures with big eyes who want to help and comfort you. Be ready to receive unexpected assistance and selfless care. Your situation is about to get softer. This card is about patience as much it's about choice. As you may have noticed, the suit of Boons doesn't go in much for speed. It's about practical response to practical problems, even in the realm of enchantment. If you don't know what to do yet, don't do anything. Each door bears a different symbol placed there by magic. Which one calls to you? Now you have seen all the cards, and I'm going to do a sample reading. However, I'm not using any of these spreads just because they are a bit too... I want to go more in depth with that. I'm going to do this a little bit later. First, I want to cleanse my cards, take a little bit care of them, look through them, shuffle them very thoroughly, and then I will come back later for a little sample reading. So I chose a tarot spread, this time none of my own, but one from Instagram that I saw a while ago. It's really been a while, I think. This is by EmeraldLotusDivination. There we go. I'm gonna link her account down in the description box. I think she always creates lovely spreads. I really love it. So here's a tarot spread for introverts, so just keep it light, nothing too much in depth. Now for the first card, the first position is card to represent my introversion. So I had a peek already. So here we have the Green Mother, and I found that really interesting to have that, you know, I was a bit afraid just a hermit would turn up. But no, but this is interesting to see that to represent my introversion, because for me what I see in it is just that I'm really never really alone. I do have the family that I care deeply about, so this belongs to me. So this is the round circle that I care for, that is always allowed in my space. So even though not everything is allowed in, there's still that aspect in me, the nurturing aspect, that no matter what, cares for others, for loved ones. And apparently my introversion is very feminine in nature. So for those who don't know, I keep those sample readings short and sweet. I don't go too much in depth. It's just to, you know, show you quickly. Then the second card is, here I have the Lovers, and the question is an important way for me to recharge. And there we have the Lovers, which comes into play again a little bit here. But I also think, like, rarely, for example, my husband is in the way. Rarely, I say, not never, because sometimes I also need a breather there, as we all do, you know, we all need alone time. But the way to recharge her is to spend that quality time. Really find quality time to spend time. So this will be a way to recharge out there in nature, leaned against a tree, maybe with the bows. I do archery, and I haven't done it for a very long time because of the whole accidents stuff, and I didn't get round this year to do it. So, you know, this is just something that I see now that may not be something that others might think of, but I just see, because that is really a moment of pure focus, and I love bow shooting just for that, you know, that it's a pure focus and all your mind just goes, it just empties. So to recharge, quality time with loved ones, and maybe a little bit of archery. And then number 3, we have, how can I honor my specific needs? And then we have the 10 of spells. Well, I would say delegate. I can't do everything on my own. And instead, because I am very introverted and I don't usually reach out to others, so maybe I have to change that to get a little bit of help from outside, because doing everything on my own is a little bit too much, and so delegating would be maybe a way to go. Then the next card, the next position is, how can I stay balanced when being around others? And I have the Seeker of Boons. So here I would say again, slowing down. When you're around others, sometimes the mind can start spinning. I'm speaking for all the introverts there who don't, you know, those who are not affected by that might not understand. But I'm talking for all the introverts. I'm not doing that really. But however, so the mind can start spinning and everything gets too much, and then it kind of gets hectical. So take a step back, take a deep breath in and out, and another one and another one, and being careful. And for example, in the book it says, if this card doesn't represent a particular person, it can mean a need to slow down, there we go, and pay attention to details lest you miss something important. Interesting. It can also offer reassurance that even though a desired outcome hasn't arrived yet, you're on the right track, and that the character traits for this card are, for example, good humor, steadiness, practical and patient, earthy, adventurous in a modest way. So you could take that a bit as an advice how to be around others. Just an example. And then the last card, we have what I can learn from external stimulation. And with the Ace of Spells, this is definitely creative spark. It might give you a lot of new ideas, talking to other people, seeing very different perspectives on life. You know, as an introvert, I think most introverts are like that. You know, we don't like necessarily just chit chat and small talk. We go right into it, right? And yeah, so definitely that's something that we can get out of it, different perspectives, that creative spark, something new. Talking with people about their passions and how they feel about it. So this is, yeah. So just a quick, light and easy sample reading just to show you how the cards more or less, it's actually just how the cards look together. There we go. So now you have seen what's in the guidebook, you have seen all the cards, a few samples on how the guidebook is written with the cards. And I also did a little sample reading so you can get an idea how they interact with each other. I hope this is helpful for you to make a decision if you want to buy this deck or not, and that you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you have all a wonderful day. I'm sending you so much love and many blessings, and bye!